what's going on? Let me shut this off before YouTube gets mad. Here's what we're up to. Gonna start making this apron for better idea. Went and picked up some steel. You're gonna see how this is all gonna come together, one way or the other. I got my little MIG machine. I'm probably gonna do most of the welding with this. I just got a new spool of wire. That's this. So, what I'm on now is these plates. I'm going to remove them. So, they're welded in behind, and I'm just going to grab a light very quickly. I'm going to put that piece of C-channel across the whole back of the body. Where is that light? Let me grab this. Sorry, give me 1 second. I've got that C-channel I'm going to basically put in place of these two plates here. You can see they're welded in here. Like one tack here, there. Kind of looks like it's welded all along that kind of corner there. So I'm gonna take my torch, run it along, zip that out, take that plate off, and take my C-channel and put it. Now let me think about that. So I'm going to take off the top flange. So it'll. Oh, now I gotta think about this because that doesn't work. Yeah, so I'll take off the top flange. Probably about at this point here. I'll notch it. So that way I could get it to sit in there nice and flush with the body. Just trying to picture how that's gonna be. I hadn't considered that at this point. So I'm gonna look at that for a minute, but as far as I know, I'm gonna start cutting this in about 5 seconds, so bear with me. That's better. That's a start. Been a few hours. This is where I'm at. Just chop, chop, chop. Choppity, chop, chop. A little chop. Over there. Should go on. I've got this contraption gonna help me hopefully put this thing in place. Try and get you somewhere where you can. Didn't break off. That's a good sign. I'm butted basically up against that. You can see. I'm gonna swing it around. So what I'll do is clean up that weld a little with the grinder and clean this a little. And I believe it should fit. Something's got a bow in it. Oh well, let me clamp that up. Gotta change the battery on the camera too. Bring it back. So I just had you for a second. Yeah, got it in place, clamped it. I've got a little bow going on. So this body's got a little hoop-de-doo in it. So it's gonna get a little interesting, but I believe my clamp might be pulling and giving a little bit of a bow in this. You could maybe make it out on the camera, I'm not sure. I can see it. It's very, very slight. But also the body has a little bit of a bow. So that's okay. We're gonna make it work. So what I'm gonna do first, I just took the grinder and I opened this up a little bit. I might gouge it out a bit more, but just gonna tack here, get some good boogers on it, try and hold it, and then I'll probably try and jack up on it here, tighten this up, and also take off my strap and push it in a bit. And hopefully I could get it pretty close and weld her up. What size is that? Let me get something set up here. I'm gonna jack up on it a little because that bolt is not loving life. Can't really turn it anymore, so I'm gonna get a jack. The bolt will just kind of hold things together. Wowee. I think that's about as tight as it's gonna get. You open it up around that. In there. I'm not getting next to that jack again. It did whack me pretty good, but it's pretty flat. I'm gonna tack it here and then I'll move the jack and I'll go a little up. Get as close as I can, but it ain't gonna be perfect. That's okay. And I tripped the breaker. Constant issue I have here. This little 140 runs pretty close to 20 amp. So, especially if I run it for a good period of time and pushing the big wire, I gotta run it pretty hot. So, of course, it trips the breaker all the time if I get too carried away. But, lucky for me, it just got enough on it to fix this. And now, that side is pretty well on there. That's as good as that's gonna get. Quite a bit of gap inside, so I wanted to double check it wasn't too screwed up, but this one it looks like crap because I burnt it in a little bit extra on the inside, but you can see it's gapped right out in here, so just want to make sure it was nice and straight, but that's basically what we're working with now. I got a couple tacks on it. I am burning the shit out of my arms. I need to put my jacket on, but don't feel like it. It's pretty hot. I'm letting the jack down. I'm shutting this off. I'm getting something to drink at this point. To do that. Oh yeah. What do you think? Off by a hair. I can make it work. Hello. I'm gonna tell you now, I haven't filmed too much of this process because I think I'd be filming mostly me sweating, walking around confused, and really bright things that the camera won't pick up. But I figured I'd grab you at this point and just show you how I'm getting along. This is what I've done so far. When I last left you, I had just got this C-channel in there. So I got that all boogered up. It ain't super pretty, and grab a light. I'm gonna show you the other side because it came out better. But I got it all welded up this morning. Had to take a day off. We went down to check out that parts truck I mentioned. And you can see I welded. I still gotta do in the middle, kind of in between, like up in here. I don't know if you can see that, but I can't see it. I can't reach it. So I'm gonna end up putting the body up, climbing on top of the rear cross members and stuff, and trying to booger that up a little bit. At least get a couple welds on it. Then what I did next was cut some stuff with the torch. I had kind of experimented, kind of had my profile, and then I tuned it up out of cardboard using different measurements and things, and I came up with this template, which is this. I tried to, 90% of what I did was just eyeballing it. Tried to match the contour of the tire a little bit with this. I don't, doesn't affect me really, but I had to cut the mud flaps off. One, because they were so close to the tire, they used to get caught and end up on top of the tire, so I kind of need to move those. And for two, they're just annoying and in the way, so cut those welds. That's one of them. Only had a few kind of 1-inch welds on it, which was fine. This one's lined up with the stud behind. These ones are just kind of chilling on the C-channel. Then these ones are gusseted kind of back, so hopefully it'll be sort of strong. I don't know, we're doing the best we can with what we got here to work with. And I'm no expert, and I'm no engineer, and I'm no nothing. I know nothing. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So my next goal is weld the crap out of all of this, which is kind of a bear, because even on these settings, which I'm trying to run it pretty hot because it is thick plate and I'm trying to get a nice feed. I could weld for maybe a minute, and then I tripped a 20-amp breaker in the house, because this thing it'll run at 20 amp full throttle. I think maybe the breaker's a little worn. You know, maybe this thing is exceeding 20 amp or getting close. So it just gets the breaker warm enough, trips, so I have to keep resetting it, and it's not right, it's not good, but I'm just trying to get through this. I'd like to get this wrapped up. Got a lot of things on my plate. So Sunday afternoon right now, about 4 o'clock. Started this morning, just back on it. So hey, we'll see what we could do. That's all I can do, is just try and get her welded up. So I'll just start going at it, doing some welding. And I don't really show that on the camera. I don't think the camera picks it up very well. Pick you guys up in a few minutes when I get through that. And this piece I've got is worth mentioning. This is a wear plate, or whatever they want to call it. This was cut off when we did our dump body on the Sterling that was left over, so we actually had Mid-City cut a big piece. AR 500, is that what they call it? I don't know. So that's the wear plate. It's 1/4 inch thick. This was left over, so they were like, "Oh, you want it?" So, yeah, hell yeah. So it's just been sitting around. So I actually based everything off of this width of this piece. So I'm gonna cut that to 8 feet long, drop it on top of those in a few minutes, and tack that in place. And then that angle iron's gonna make the bottom corner. So once I get it welded up, I'll pick you guys up once I'm fighting with that, trying to drop it on myself, and we'll see how that goes. All right, we'll catch you in a few. What's up? See how this goes. Try and get the plate on top. Leave you guys set up for a minute. Watch me struggle with it. Drop it on my feet. feel pretty good. Kill this fan so I can actually hear myself talk. Oh, well, that was the product about 2 days and then some of hard labor. Got some welding to do. I'll use my pry bar and maybe a block of wood or something and just make sure I get them sitting down good. And I'll tack the top. I'll weld them all up underneath, and then I'll probably fire up the stick welder and I'll burn some 7018 in that. I got some big fat rod that'll fill that right up quick. I'll be there forever with that little MIG. The overhead stuff underneath I'll probably MIG just because it's easier. But oh, that don't look too bad, does it? So, good morning. As you can see, I just used the bar and a couple blocks of wood and hold that down, get it nice and tight. Wow. So I'm gonna dig out the old miller and burn a few rods into this. Ouch. My ribs taking a beating. I'm not going to reveal yet. But I've got things welded up inside. I gotta just clean off the slag, maybe, if I feel ambitious. I got my mud flat brackets welded on, as you can see. So, other side as well. So the end result looks something like this. My special needs cousin Ricky welded this, so I had to grind it down. Well, I didn't weld it. I had to. I had to get rid of the ugly. So yeah, that's basically the way it looks inside. All welded up. I don't know. I think I'll probably break off with the first rock that lands on it, but that's how she ended up for now. Like I said, I'll chip the slag inside just with the needle scaler real quick, just to make it nice. And we'll put the body down, maybe give you guys another look. I got a few other things I want to tend to. I'm gonna move that mud flat bracket behind the battery box, weld the other one back on behind the hydraulic tank. With that, I mean, this chapter's pretty much wrapped up. I knew it was gonna be a lot of work, but I don't know. It's always more than you expect, I guess. But it definitely turned out better than I had hoped. It was a long time coming. This truck didn't have one to begin with at all, even with the old body. And this body didn't have it when we bought it. And then, you know, ended up on this truck, and then just never really worked out to having it, you know. So that's pretty cool. That'll be really nice. Keep the crap off underneath, keep from destroying everything, and I'm beat. So yeah, I don't think you get much more out of me today, but yeah, with that, I think I'll end this program. You know, the rest of it's just bolting up mud flaps and nothing crazy. I gotta shut up, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm no fabricator, and don't do what I do because it's likely wrong, but this seemed to be the best way to build this, with that C-channel going straight across the back. Welded it front and back, close up that gap as best we could. Then I made these end plates. You know, I kind of just, I measured the plate that I had, the top plate. I had that, and that was already the length of it. And that was pretty close to the one on the Sterling. That works pretty well. So between that and I kind of just guessed at the 3-inch angle iron on the bottom. Just, you know, because basically, I mean, it's just the right contour, the right shape. So I took everything kind of into consideration because I wanted it to drop below the C-channel in here, so I could get a nice bead all the way around it, so that sucker can't move. So when rocks come down, bang, this thing's trying to force this and that to separate and come apart. And I even considered doing a little kicker here, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I don't haul mega boulders or anything like that. So that was my theory. Then I cut all these, whatever you want to call them, kickers or whatever, and weld the doors on, which you saw, that kind of end of it. Same thing down here. So this was basically the first step for me, was welding these on. Then I ran 2 strings, one on the top, one on the bottom. So then I could stick them on, get them nice and true, tack them, you know, give it a little wiggle wherever I need it, and then just fire away. So then this 3-inch, because I wanted this below, I had to notch this, right? Take off a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch to get it inside, which worked out okay. I mean, it wasn't really kind of how I planned it, but I thought it would have looked a lot worse to cut this. It would have, I don't know, I thought it would have looked kind of funny, but Maybe, maybe not. And I welded that up, so it was nice because I didn't have the top plate on, so I could weld it from any angle basically. I could stand up and weld. Then I dropped the top plate on, which you saw. Welded top and bottom. The gap was kind of big, so that was one thing that kind of sucked. I had to run like 3, 4, 5, 6 almost passes to close the gap on the bottom. The top, I did have one area where I had to run multiple passes to try and close it up before I could sew it shut. So that was kind of a bear. That was a lot of welding. You know, I burnt a couple rods, you know. So yeah, that was kind of a lot of work. So that started the day, basically, was doing that. I like that little MIG machine. That little, it's a 140 MP. I love that little welder. That does such a great job. I just wish I had the power to run it, because it's like, I'll get a nice speed going, I'll get a little carried away, I'm comfortable, I feel good, and I just lose track of time, and I don't stop. I swear to God, I've reset that breaker in my house probably, God, 40 times. Like, not joking, you know. Then I'm all tangled up and trying to stand up, go in the basement, which the panel's not far away, but it's just a lot. So maybe someday I'll set up something. You know what I was looking at? I know I'm rambling, I need to shut up. You probably can't see it, but that big plug on the welder says 120, 240, and that's a 50 amp. So I'm wondering if I could go get a big plug and it says 120, so I don't know how I would do it, but if I could, you know, get a camper plug or whatever that style plug, you know, kind of is, step it down to a plug like that. If I could run that machine off of that welder, you know, that'd be sweet, man. So with that, we'll catch you guys later. We'll see you on the next one, all that stuff. Really, thank you for watching this. Please comment, engage, you know. I love to hear from you. I love to, you know, even if it's bad, even if it's good, whatever you want to tell me, I don't care. If you're still watching this, there's something up with you, so let me hear about it. We'll see you guys later.